me, I'd like to read Dr. Leitner's thoughts about his friend John. And if I could, I'll present them to you now. I shall never forget the afternoon on which I first met tonight's honoree, John Dolan. It was during my first week at John S. Burke Catholic, and I was doing some after-school work in preparation for the following day's classes. Suddenly, the door in the back of my classroom opened, and through it came an apparently annoyed, but very distinguished-looking man who announced, "Mr. Leitner, I'm John Dolan." I soon learned that John was upset with me because I had refused to prepare on demand an extra help packet for one of the Latin students. Around here, John, we all do all we can for the students, John informed me. Needless to say, I was more than a little displeased by this gratuitous reminder of what my goal ought to be, and I let John know it. No one could have predicted then that Mr. Dolan would soon become my closest friend at Burke. Reconciliation took less than a day, largely because John is a man who simply cannot bear a grudge. Over and over during the years I have known him, that quality has become increasingly evident. I have also learned that his words about doing everything possible for the betterment of the high school and its students were totally sincere. In his person, he has embodied the ideal, not words, but deeds, in all of its fullness. In a school setting where we often find an impressive number of strong personalities, it is very difficult to point to any one person who can be described as the face of this institution. That is, the person who comes to mind first when we think of the school. In the case of John Dolan, however, it has been surprisingly easy. John's superb work as head of our guidance department, his unfailing dedication to Burke Catholic and its students, the personal warmth and Irish charm that govern his relationships with parents, faculty members, and of course, with students, soon made it clear to me and many others that John Dolan should be described as the face of John S. Burke Catholic High School. Among his responsibilities, he has been the director of admissions. Day after day, we have seen him walking with 8th grade youngsters and their parents through the building, explaining their ideals and expectations, and encouraging the prospective new Eagles to believe that their talents and willingness to learn would bring about their success at Burke Catholic. For them, he has provided the first human face and name for further communication. When finally these youngsters have endured our ranks, John is there for them as head of the guidance department. But it is during their senior year that John becomes most meaningfully a tireless advocate for each and every one of them. For it is during the senior year that the students must find an affordable college opportunity, and Mr. Dolan has enjoyed enormous success in his search for appropriate scholarship assistance. It is also during the senior year that he works for the last time with the parents and the guardians of students. Because of that, the man who welcomed the boys and girls of Burke Catholic usually becomes the most important person in their transition to college. John's commitment to Burke Catholic has gone well beyond the walls. He has established contacts aimed at helping the school and its students in a number of ways. Much of John's hidden work has occupied his weekends and other so-called free time. This past spring, for example, he saw to it that Burke Catholic would be represented in a locally organized race. Signs had to be painted, and John actually gave up an entire weekend morning to do the painting. I would be surprised if more than a handful of us knew anything about that. Better known, of course, has been John's extraordinary commitment to Burke's ice hockey program, which he has directed since its inception. His tireless gifts of time and energy have earned for our teams the right to participate in the final rounds of the New York State competition. And they have won the enthusiastic praise of coaches from as far away as Syracuse, Utica, and Buffalo. John has become the face of John S. Burke Catholic's hockey family, and the affection and respect that he has won within that family cannot be described adequately in words. Since our inauspicious first meeting, I have come to love and admire John Dolan for many reasons. He has inspired me through his profound dedication to Christian principle, his kindness and generosity, which show themselves in so many circumstances, have become legendary in the course of a very long career. I have never met this like before. I am personally thrilled by the fact that my dear friend John Dolan is being honored this evening, and wish I could be present for the festivities. John is truly a great man who delights in everything that is good, and who is unabashedly proud of his Irish Catholic heritage. The honor bestowed on him and all of our honorees at this scholarship fundraiser dinner could not be more appropriate. I ask that you please give John your heartfelt applause as he rises to receive his award. But before you do that, I'd like to tell you a really short story. 3 years ago, when I first came to the building, I didn't know Mr. Dolan. He was Mr. Dolan then, he's John now. And I heard this story about him. There was a mom, came from the Midwest. She was Army, and she was coming east on an assignment. And while she was here, she had found out she was going to be deployed to Afghanistan. So she came to the school, and she asked to see about enrolling her daughter. So John met with her, they sat down, and they talked, and the mom had some concerns about where to bring her daughter, because she was going to be deployed, and she wanted to feel good about where her daughter would be, and what kind of community she'd be entering into. John listened to her patiently, which is not one of his better suits.